Today, I am out doing more hinge cuts and felling trees to try and create a barrier between my property and the neighbor's property. You can see in the background there is an orange fence post, and it divides my part of the woods from the neighbor's. The neighbors last year thought it would be nice to put hunting blinds right near the edge of our property, and I want to see if I can build a natural barrier with hinge cut and fallen trees to prevent the deer from leaving my property and going onto the neighbor's property. The thought is, if I bring down these trees, it will be so thick that the deer won't be able to pass through it, or at least won't want to put the effort forth to pass through it if they have an easier route to go around and a food source when they do go around to make it worth their while. As you can see, not everything goes quite according to plan every single time I come out here into the woods. But for the most part, most of the trees fell exactly where I wanted them to and started lining up nicely, creating that natural barrier. These trees that are hinge cut will continue to thicken out and grow on the ground for several years, making this an even thicker area and making it even harder for the deer to move through. This will also expose the ground to sunlight, creating more plant growth and offering up a food source for the deer, as well as additional cover. So even if this does not prevent the deer from moving from my property to the neighbor's, it will hopefully help make the deer feel more comfortable and give them a nice bedding area in the back part of the woods. There are some spots along the fence line that I don't have large trees that I can drop to make a barrier along the edge of the fence. So instead, I have to resort to dropping several small trees, and I actually feel like these almost make a better barrier. The small branches and the easy to cut hinges line up nicely and they don't come crashing to the ground so hard. I also feel like these smaller trees have a better chance of survival after doing the hinge cut on the trees, because I don't have to cut through so much of the trunk to get them to hinge over. This spring, once these trees leaf out, I will come back and I'll assess the situation and see if I need to drop even more trees to help with this natural barrier. Another thing that I'm going to do to help keep the deer on my side of the fence line is create a deer trail for them to follow. I'm going to make another video of creating that deer trail, but it's a fairly easy concept that I've done before and it works out really well for me. You can really start to see how dropping about 20 or 30 trees can really thicken up a spot of woods and really change the habitat in the area. This will only help benefit the deer while hopefully helping me and my hunting opportunities this next deer season, keeping all of those deer and big bucks on my side of that property line and not walking right to the neighbor's hunting blinds that they've put just on the other side of my property. Next up, I'm going to be working on making that deer trail.